become active, it makes that Siege Rhino and Tarmogoyf terrifying.
Yes.
Remember, Death Touch and Trample means he can assign
Liliana, great draw.
a fantastic draw. McKaylee having one card in hand to Damo's 0 though, which is slightly annoying, meaning he might always have that one card in hand when it comes to it. This is interesting because Trample and Death Touch work really well on that Rhino, but Tarmogoyf has the chance to grow.
Wow.
So
there's the foil Goyf. Look at it, and I bet McKaylee's like, yeah.
There's the 5th land, and maybe now Damo regarding not keeping that Rhino around.
Yeah, absolutely.
He mightn't know the Death Touch.
How do you feel about McKaylee just throwing out that land from the top?
Well, he has to because he wants to plus that Liliana, so it's going to get discarded either way.
Okay.
So he's going to try and grind it out. Damo now needs to find, ideally, a Lingering Souls again to make this Liliana not that effective.
And I think he's just passing turn. He's like, you won't have anything that will kill both of my Goyfs and allow you to kill my.
Not attacking last turn with the Goyf to me seems like a mistake. That Goyf can kill both of your opponent's Goyfs. That Liliana this turn is going to kill.
Yeah.
So and now what it means is if Damo draws any spell, he's stuck between the choice of keeping a card in hand and trying to attack with Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
Or
yeah. So we've turned into a top deck war where, like, McKaylee, no passing
passing turn. Again, not an attack, and maybe not realizing that Death Touch can be split between those two guys.
Yeah.
Maybe not knowing the Death Touch rule. Sacrifice by Liliana killing that Goyf.
It'd be really interesting to know what Damo has in hand.
Yeah, me too. Maybe just sandbagging the land, making that plus on the Liliana look a bit spicy.
Potentially.
Liliana of Damo's own being able to take out one of these Tarmogoyfs is very important.
Sure. Of course, keeping the foil one.
Why
course.
wouldn't you? Unless he has his foil scavenging use, in which case, foil scavenging use needs to eat foil Goyf.
Is that how it works? Does it get 2 counters?
No, only one, but can only eat foil. It's actually strictly worse than the normal.
And we have a foil overgrown too.
Stomping Grounds.
I know overgrown too.
There's.
So yeah.
I don't know, a few questionable plays by Damo, but there are downsides to the plays we are suggesting, and maybe thinking he has better draws like Lingering Souls and stuff always shutting down this game.
Absolutely. I'd be really interested to know what that card he has left over is.
There's still a good chance it could be a land that he's trying to
edge.
And now that Vault of the Archangel is no longer going to come into play.
No, he's still
taking out White Source instead. That is true. Only one White Source there by Damo.
Okay. And kill the Liliana. And
now Lingering Souls off the table.
Yeah, I think McKaylee is going to want to draw either a Raging Ravine.
Inquisition into 0 cards in hand. Interesting choice by Damo. That Inquisition could be kept in hand to protect the.
Your Inquisition, let's see. He's got a Tassiga.
Thoughtseize was the last card in hand, which makes a lot of sense. He's Goyf's 5/6 now for the Goyf. Foil Goyf looking to take it home here from McKaylee unless a removal spell is drawn. And that's it. Let's see if we can get McKaylee in to discuss that matchup, because some interesting sideboard choices for him as well. Yep. And a game maybe in other circumstances not as likely to win. It's easy here from the commentary position making comments on games, but a lot different when you're down there making the choices yourself. Damo could have taken a couple different lines, but we're also presuming he knows perfectly the interaction between Death Touch and Trample. We're also presuming he knows that he can Death Touch 2 separate creatures. Interesting matchup, and something I think we're going to come across a lot. Abzan and Jund going to become very popular in the meta. Green-black X decks, and you're choosing white or red for different matchups.
Yeah.
You're either getting Bolt or Patch, you're either getting Rhino or Olivia's choices. There's a lot of ways to build these green.
Like you said, the sideboard as well. With red, you get the access to Blood Moon. With white, you get access to Stony Silence. Blood Moon being excellent right now. I think it's a way of fighting against Bloom Titan, which is always excellent.
And here we have McKaylee. Congratulations on your win, sir.
With the foil Goyf.
Oh, first blood.
How delighted are you?
Yeah, first time I cast him, and finally we got someone.
And he won you the game.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. So you're second in the league standings at the moment. You're not qualified for the Invitational yet, so
not yet. No.
You're hoping to stay second, or preferably overtakes Shane for the box of
Yeah, he
surprises.
didn't
as well.
start well. He won the first game.
Yeah.
I played against him, got paired, and then I lost 2-1.
That's always a nice tight matchup as well. Affinity and
Oh yeah, it's not easy. Yeah,
Affinity
very
and
close.
Junk is tight for both.
Yeah.
It's almost as 50-50 as a matchup in this format can get.
We'd be particularly interested as well. You're a person who likes playing the green-black decks. What made you choose red over white at this particular period in time?
Well, you have access to Olivia and Lightning Bolt, which is in the format in here is just more effective.
Okay.
I mean, here we have Delvers here, we have a lot of affinity, and I want to play a Tamogorf deck, and I think John is the best one at the moment.
Grixis Delver definitely picking up in popularity, not only here but online.
Also,
a
you
lot.
have access to another big one. Abruptica isn't as good as it used to be because now you have Gormak Anglers and Tassigers all over the place.
Yeah.
So Terminate is really good.
Terminator is very good at the
Yeah.
moment.
Sounds good.
Game 2, very interesting. Damo could have taken a couple of different lines. The Vault of the Archangel could have been very scary. I don't know if he knows the interaction, but if he had kept Siege Rhino around. So he could have definitely taken out your Liliana. There's 1 or 2 turns he could have attacked with his Tarmogoyf, and you can't double block because
Yeah,
he kills
but
both your guys.
To be fair, he's placed the deck now the second time, so
Yeah.
he has experience.
Well, we're not blaming him on the misplay. We don't even know if he knows the interaction. We don't even know if he knows he can do
Yeah.
one-on-one damage. You know, he's new to it. Vault of the Archangel is not something that would have been around when he started playing, and so he's still picking up tricks. It's still an interesting choice the turn that you take down Liliana and he has Goyf or Siege Rhino. Instinctively, you want to keep the Goyf because it gets bigger, but Siege Rhino with Trample on Death Touch is interesting.
But I'm
to
not
keep
sure if
around.
he had the 5 mana to activate it at the
No,
time.
he drew the next turn.
Oh.
So basically, by keeping around Siege Rhino, he's saying that any spell is live, plus any land is live.
It also is interesting if he has Maelstrom Pulse in his deck. If he does, obviously.
Then keeping the Rhino is
Yeah.
really interesting. There's a lot of small plays there to gain advantage, and that's this kind of mirror match. There's all tiny plays to grind out
I think that
advantages.
the break point in game 2 was when I was able to efficiently cash in my Lightning Bolt for his Tassiger, where I wiped his board.
For sure, the Jun Charm really shone through. It's actually weird. He took your
Liliana,
Liliana with
yeah.
the Thoughtseize, and I thought that when he did that, I thought he had a Tarmogoyf in hand. Now he didn't, and he had Lingering Souls instead. So maybe it was good to let you keep Liliana. Like in this matchup, you might have to keep them in, but Liliana's a lot better for him than it is for you.
Yeah, significant.
Because he has souls to make the sack bad, he has souls to make the discard bad. You're a lot more likely to get one of your big creatures killed by Liliana, where he can navigate the game where it isn't. Not that you're completely dead to souls, you still have Olivia to answer them and such. But we even suggested you might even be shaving numbers on the Liliana post board maybe.
Yeah, usually I do that, but now I'm only playing 3 main already.
Yeah.
So, and I already want to take out 7 spells. The discard spells aren't really good. Like I keep maybe one or 2 in.
No,
just-
they're very redundant. They're doing a lot of his spells do the same thing, and late game you saw Damien drawing 2 of them late game where you had nothing but action because you sideboarded
yeah,
them out.
that's exactly what's happening in those grindy matchups. Like we trade 1-for-1 our early plays, and then we start a top deck war, and you don't want to top deck it.
Yeah,
discard spells.
even players of Abzan and Standard know this is how Standard go. And Abzan mirrors, you're taking out Thoughtseizes because they're such bad draws late. And all their cards do relatively similar things. They're either a big creature with an effect on the board, or they're a removal spell, you know? The creatures like Huntmaster of the Fells, I suppose you were bringing in for that kind of matchup.
Oh yeah, Tassiger, Handmaster, I take out the discard spells.
And the Fulminators depress his mana.
You brought in the Jun Charm as well.
Yeah,
John
because
Charms.
it's my only answer really. Sometimes if they can get an early pressure with Lingering Souls, for example if they have Gownie Township and Lingering Souls, I need to answer it somehow.
Sure.
And I like the John Charm because also it wins Tarmogoyf battles and Siege Rhino wars.
We were interested as well in the Grim Lavamancer.
They're not for this matchup. They're mainly for Affinity and Delver.
We were considering seeing if you were interested to kill Lingering Souls, but I guess it's very inefficient. 4
I can ignore it.
activations.
If I manage to put him on the back foot early enough, then he has to jump block using for. And then the Lingering Souls, they will buy him time, but I'll grind it out if I have to.
That's fair.
You clearly like the Fulminator Mage as well. I see you don't play Blood Moon inside.
Well, the deck isn't really.
You have to play all the dual lands non-basics.
Yeah, I'm already stretching it. If you look at, for example, Jerry Thompson's list, or most of the jump player, they don't play tech edges in the main.
No.
Because it stretches your mana.
So,
back
some
already.
have ghost quarters in the sideboard
Yeah.
instead. I've noticed that's
So-
something they're bringing in a lot.
Yeah.
But you're a big fan of no Crucible in the sideboard for the Jones matchup, maybe? Tech
No.
Edge Crucible?
No. Like, that's not going to happen anyway.
No.
I mean,
I guess without Ghost Quarter, that's not a
yeah.
realistic thing to do.
The only thing I'm concerning or considering is also eventually trimming down the number of fetch lands, because there's so many,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
I don't have so many. I think I only have like 6 fetchable lands in total, so it's not really.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks very much, Michaeli.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your win, and
One more.
best of luck in the next round.
Absolutely. Take down.
I think here we're going to get the game 3 of Shane Downs. Again, we just saw him on camera last round on the right, and against
Cleary.
Phil Cleary, who's on. He's been on Grixis Pyro Delver.
Yeah, Grixis Delver. It's and they all have the Pyromancer there on the side, which I'm glad. I love Pyromancer. I'm glad it's seeing decent play outside of the old Delver day, because Delver. It's really weird. Delver, when it was playing Treasure Cruise, was everywhere. And then it kind of fell off, because I feel like this happens whenever a big toy is taken out of people's toolbox. They kind of be like, the deck's not as good, why bother
Oh, sure,
playing it?
but the problem is before Treasure Cruise, the deck was around.
Yeah.
But it was a tier 2 deck that preyed on some tier 1
Absolutely.
decks. And now it changes, like, the other Delve spells are just as good, people have realised. But that means adding Black Gurmag Anger is an excellent addition to the deck. Because the problem with it is Lightning Bolt was very good against it naturally, and because there's no actual draw spells in the deck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cantrip, but there's no actual card advantage. It wasn't hard to grind the deck out with Pyroclasm effects and Bolt effects.
Yeah.
But now, some of them want Hazagar, some of them want Gurmag Angler.
Or a mixture of both.
Yeah, this card makes it so that you need a better mixture of removal against them, and your removal that's effective against a Gurmag Angler is not always effective against Delver, and spreading these threats help a lot.
Yeah.
We know that Shane is up a game, of course. When is he not? I suppose.
On game 1.
On
If
game
he's
1.
not, things have gone very wrong.
Shane up a game, so Phil will be on the play here. Anything of note in Phil's sideboard?
In his sideboard, he has.
Sorry, Jens, can I put that in there?
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you very much.
That's our war gamers. They like to leave back in some stuff and always announce what they're doing. So he has 2 Spellskite, 2 Blood Moon, 2 Vandal Blast, 2 Rakdos Charm, 1 Colligan's Command, 1 Flash Freeze, 1 Negate, 1 Dispel, 1 Vendilion Click, 1 Sower of Temptation, and 1 Izzet Staticaster. So I like the not the Blood Moon, the Rakdos Charm, and
Vandal
the
Blast,
Colligan's
of course.
Command, and of course Vandal Blast. The great thing about Colligan's Command, he already has 1 in the main, so he gets to go up to 2. And what it can usually do is hopefully get to a point where you get to go destroy target artifact and deal 2 damage to this creature.
Yeah, for sure.
2 for 1s all day. Kill your cranial plating and whatever creature it's on.
Kill your cranial biting and a creature is a massive game in this matchup. There's a couple other niche sideboard cards that he might have there, and including Izzet Stratocaster is an interesting one.
Sure.
A lot of X ones in the deck. It's a 0/3, but can block sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah.
But killing X ones, making it so Shane can't ever really activate his lands
That's true.
without them tapping to give themselves +1/+1 is interesting. I'm not sure if it's good enough. It's not really meant for this matchup. It's meant for lingering solo matchups. But again, if you're taking out some cards that you consider dead, this is something. And Phil going straight to 6, not even giving that hand a second look.
Yeah. Because he's got 2 Terminates, 1 Murderous Cut, 1 Colligan's Command, 1 Electrolyze, which is fine, 4 Lightning Bolts. Those are his main sources of removal. He does have 3 Remands, which I'm going to assume come out. He has 3 Mana Leaks, which are okay, 2 Spell Snares, which are grand.
The
Mana Leaks-
Mana Leaks still aren't great in this matchup.
No, but there's only so many things you can take out. So let's see.
In general, Permission is not great against
He
Affinity.
has a lot of land.
Now a lot of lands, last hand probably very few, and yeah, straight back down to 5. He's going to need his Vandal Blast and then his Colligan's Commands now to draw a party, get out of that mulligan. Shane keeping at the 7.
Probably chanting 4.
Why not 4?
4.
This the key with this Delver deck against this Affinity match is not to overload on your removal. You still need a Delver or a Pyromancer to really take over, and this seems fine. Lands, Terminate, Angler,
Lightning Bolt.
and a Lightning
Vandal
Bolt, and a Vandal. Yeah, that's a Vandal Blast. I don't think you can ask much more out of a 5. Another land here.
Yeah.
Does he have a second land in hand already? If not, this fetch
is not good. Unless he's...
It's a small percentage compared to damage, so I don't mind the fetch. Like, it's a very small percentage, but you know me, I love playing the percentages.
Yeah.
But two damage is not an insignificant amount of damage to be dodging.
If he doesn't draw land here, he's going to feel pretty bad.
Ooh.
Oh, he got it, but he's not have back.
No black source.
No black
That's
source.
That's another thing about not fetching. If you draw your second land, you really need to know if you need to get that black source. This lightning bolt alive now though, and any black source turns on terminate and that Gurmag Angler in his hand. Spellskite. Ooh.
Because the deck is majoritively it's a weird thing. He got the Steam Fence because his deck is majoritively red-blue, splashing black, but he's got a lot of black. Wow, just naturally draw it. I was going to say he's got a lot of black sources. He's got a lot of black cards in hand, so I might have actually gotten the Blood Crypt instead.
Yeah, there's certainly an argument for that.
Here
comes a Memnite.
What's the Vandal Blast? It's 5
mana to overload.
Okay, he might be able to get there.
He mightn't have to. This Terminate's going to take care of a Spellskite, then this Lightning Bolt is going to take care of whatever. I assume this is a Cranial Plating, because when is it not a Cranial Plating?
It's always a Cranial.
Yeah,
there we go.
Cranial Plating coming in.
We're so cynical. We're like, yeah, whatever.
And not a great position for Phil, but he is going to be able to
deal with two things.
To kill these two things if he sequence right. Now Vandal Blast being able to take care of that Cranial Plating, and Gurmag Anger hopefully being able to mop up. You know, this is not a bad situation for a 5.
Absolutely.
And if he can hold on for a couple of lands, that Vandal Blast might be able to do work.
Colligan's Command.
Excellent.
Boom.
Draw. Excellent draw.
Kill your two things.
Killing straight away. There might have been. I think I would have waited if I was Phil. There might be an activation of an Inkmot, which is a lot more relevant to kill. I think. Ravager. You can always kill Ravager on the stack, and here's the Steel Overseer.
So what we have now as well is
the classic Ravager eats whatever you kill.
So he can actually get Gurmag Angler out?
I would Gurmag, and I think I would wait on that Vandal Blast. The thing with Vandal Blast is that you get to kill. You get to kill everything. He can't activate his lands to pass on tokens. So waiting 1 mana on a Vandal Blast and getting this Gurmag Angler is a nice fat blocker is a thing. Then again, every turn you wait, that Steel Overseer gets to put some counters on those lands if Shane's playing this turn properly.
Yeah. So he's fetching. It's going to make that Gurmag Angler a bit better. So what happens is now I think he gets to tap out, leaving a Colligan's Command and maybe a Lightning Bolt or a Terminate.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's choosing to leave in the Terminate. Right. Gets his Gurmag Angler out. That's pretty great.
Anger going to be a nice big fat blocker here. Shane's going to have a hard time dealing with it. His main removal source being Galvanic Blast.
Absolutely. And any Snapcaster Mage from here on out gets to get Phil back in the game.
Yeah, Snapcaster not being able to hit that Colligan's Command, unfortunately. Yeah. Is Vandal Blast an instant? We're going to give that a check.
I don't believe so. Usually those kind of effects, when you can overload them, when you can make them bigger, usually a sorcery speed. So
yeah, I would assume so, but if it's an instant, being able to catch those man lands will be very relevant.
Yeah, so Inkmoth Nexus coming online and Steel Overseer giving it all. So yeah, Shane is just like, okay, we're going to get this done in the air. And
yeah, these man lands picking up counters is going to be big, and this is why Vandal Blasting the Overseer was so important. And now, is Shane just able to kill?
No.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah,
enough hit poison through the air.
Well, there we go.
That's it. And that's what not Vandal Blasting does for you, not killing that Steel Overseer, and that's 2-0 to Shane Downs. That was a fast one.
I don't think it was greedy of Phil. I think that's just kind of what you have to do.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think if I was Phil, Vandal Blast is hitting that Steel Overseer, and it's only buying you a turn. You still need to draw something, but
yeah, he bought it the Staticaster, like you said. Rakdos Charm.
Vandal Blasts. I get what he's getting at. He wants to try and get the whole board with land off top. He's making land draws in his deck life, but that Mats was on board. He could have countered that.
Yeah, you're right. He brought in the Spellskites. How do you feel about Spellskites against Affinity?
I feel positively about it. They eat up Ravager tokens, they block on the ground.
Yeah.
They stop Galvanic Blast from being a thing.
Always good. So there's a Whip Flare coming out of Shane.
Yeah, Whip Flare kills Pyromancer dead. Pyromancer some trouble for these decks.
2 Whip Flare, 2 Spellskite, 2 Edge Champion.
Yeah, ex-champion again, excellent in any matchup where that's sort of 1-for-1 you out of the game.
Absolutely.
So that's unfortunate. This game, usually a very close matchup, I feel. As I said, the same with Abzan versus Affinity. This is very 50-50. After board, Phil just having a lot of stuff to deal with Affinity.
Yeah.
Slight mistake not killing that Overseer. But
you're right though. It being out on field, he should have been able to do the maths.
it wasn't exactly. I think he played like 1 artifact, 2 artifacts that turn. But you can depend on Shane playing an artifact or 2. He has a good few cards in hand. I think Shane's a good enough player that you have to put it on him, knowing that he can just go for it.
How do you feel about maybe getting rid of one more card from your graveyard to leave up 1 mana? For example, just to leave up a lightning bolt and represent.
This is also certainly a play, but it's hard to choose what card to keep, because the temptation is to always have the Colligan's Command in the graveyard, so you're able to.
Well, you're 2 cards away
Command.
then from the Snapcaster. So because what I'd be thinking about is tapping out there, and if you make a point of tapping your mana and then recounting your graveyard and then untapping one of your lands, like by looking at your hand, it sends a pretty clear signal about what you're going to be doing, and that you want to that you're leaving up a lightning bolt, and it might make Shane.
I'm Queen for scolding or something.
How you doing, Phil? Commiserations on that match.
Happens. I should have Vandal blasted something, but I didn't do the maths.
Yeah, we were talking about it. It's hard. It's not very apparent that you're going to die that turn.
If I had taken my time and looked at it a bit more, I would have.
Think you would have come to it?
Yeah.
There's also the temptation, if you keep that Vandal Blast in hand,
I was 1 land away from just blowing everything up.
Any land you draw is an excellent draw. So you're making any land in your deck a draw, plus any action is obviously fair.
Yeah.
What do you think of that matchup in general, though?
I think it's a lot. I had it earlier. I played it round 2. I think it's a lot better after board than before board, because I can bring in like 6 or 7 things that say destroy artifact on them. Colligan's Command, you saw I got 2 of those things there.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
just awesome. It's fantastic. But yeah, Colligan's Command, Vandal Blast, and Rakdos Charms all come in.
So I guess it's the same thing where game 1 you might be.
Game 1, I feel like I'm at
Slightly
base 1 favoured.
yeah.
I have a main Colligan's Command and I have bolts.
Pyromancer is also very good in that matchup in general.
The problem is I've got 4 Gataxian Probes, which are effectively useless when they dump their hand.
And pretty much excellent land drops for you as well.
Yeah.
You only own 19 lands,
18.
correct? 18. So you have to be throwing them off turn 1 a lot of the time.
And Remands are terrible.
Remands are absolutely
It's like, I remand you, think, okay, you play it again. Earlier on, game 1, I was end of turn casting a Snapcaster, remanding my own Snapcaster to fill the grave for Delve and draw things, just because I had nothing else. I just had to get cards into the graveyard. He wasn't casting spells, he was empty-handed, so I was just
having to do it.
cycling remands for
We're being interrupted by another match. Sorry, would love to
interrupted.
Would love to talk to you more
We're
about the
interrupting you,
matchup.
Phil. We really came here for
more
you.
Affinity.
Absolutely.
Commiserations on your loss again, and good luck with the rest of the day, man.
Thanks.
So we have Dan Daly on the left hand side playing Affinity, and Gregor on the right playing Bloom Titan combo.
Bloom Titan, he's become very attached to this. Greg a game up. Game 1 is the straight race in this matchup, and Greg is probably favourite. A deck that can go off turn 2.
Absolutely.
And
well, hold on. Does he play Simian Spirit Guide? He does. He's got the one.
Here, an explosives for 0 is Greg's first play.
Explosive for 0.
Kills Ornithopter.
Sure, it
It
does.
kills Mem Knight, I guess, as well. Greg been playing this deck for a couple of weeks. Very hard deck to play. Not very hard to interact with your opponent, but very hard deck to just figure out, get your head around the different triggers going and stack. Every land you fetch and play every turn is very important. Your lands are almost like your spells in this matchup.
So he's going to get a Serum Visions.
Yeah, Gemstone Mines into Serum Visions, Stir with Ancient Stirrings, which is excellent in this deck.
So
you get to get those lands, which are basically spells, as I said, and also can get Amulet.
It's a Simic Growth Chamber, and I believe
Was that an Amulet?
No, he put his. I don't know, but he had a Simic Growth Chamber, which he put on the bottom. The deck plays a huge amount of lands, an absolute smorgasbord of lands.
It actually does.
Because it needs to. It needs to have a bunch of these one-off answers with Primeval Titan.
Hey guys, sorry, just dropping there.
So yeah,
Dan just reading explosives, wondering what else it gets. Of note, it doesn't actually get lands. It doesn't get the Inkmot Nexus if it's animated.
yes.
It says non-lands. Otherwise, it would blow up all lands the way it's worded. But,
It would be insane.
Arcbound Ravager here going to stop that explosives being effective at all. He's going to be able to eat that Ornithopter.
Absolutely.
And I think just a simple pass of the turn here. Not even pump faking that attack with the Ornithopter, not even thinking about it.
Absolutely. We actually see that mistake being made a lot where people think that engineered explosives will deal with Inkmoth and Blinkmoth Nexus activations.
Yeah.
They won't.
No, they will not. Greg going on to turn 2 uninterrupted here, and you got to imagine this is favouring him after he's kept a 7.
Yeah.
Like, this deck commonly goes off turn 3.
I believe it's actually another engineered explosive see-through, not an amulet.
Oh, it is.
It's the different art.
It is the 2 different arts in one deck. No, not for me. These explosives though, maybe slowing down his hand. Maybe Greg thinking these have a greater effect on the board than they actually do.
Yeah. This is one of those things. This is one of those combat decks where the core of the combo is so many cards and they're all so relevant that it's really difficult to sideboard. So it's just like
Greg taking a Radiant Fountain off his Ancient Stirring is going to pad his life total a bit and give him a few more turns to go off, hopefully.
Absolutely.
The Simic Growth Chamber will pick up a Gemstone Mine, and we're going to end up passing up the turn. Greg just molding his hand, buying himself time, knowing that he's not under much pressure to go off anytime soon here. We see a lot of lands, including a Summoning Pact in his hand. He is actually not close to going off.
No, he's not.
Not even close. Amulet really needs to be coming off the top of his deck, or Summer Bloom for this to be considerably close.
Yeah, Summer Bloom would be pretty good.
Because the Affinity deck is beating just a Titan without the haste a lot of the time.
Foil Spellskite. New Phyrexian one as well.
New Phyrexian foil. Spellskite, not actually the most effective in this matchup either. It's going to stop any removal that has possibly been brought in. This explosive's going off next turn. It's not going to be able to stop that, but Ravager is going to eat all the zeros anyway, and a Thought Cast.
1 mana. Gotta love it. Foil Thoughtcast.
Draws into Overseer and I think that's a Blinkbot Nexus, which he is going to play.
Yep.
So Herbert Dan Daly here. Taps 1, Springleaf Drum.
So here's the question:
He only has a Ravager left in hand at the moment. So a lot of these zeros might be eaten on this attack. No, just 1 in for 1. Okay. He's going to force the explosives from Greg if at all possible. He wants Greg to. The more turns Greg is spending actually interacting, the more time Dan has. This is the intricate balance.
I actually really like in this position going all in, sacking everything and putting it on your Blinkmoth or your Inkmoth Nexus, hitting him for 5, and then just being like, okay, next turn I'm going to kill you. You have to go off right now.
He can at the moment put 6 counters.
Sure, it's still a 2-turn clock.
He can do more damage than that because that Blinkmoth can activate to pump the Inkmoth.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So he can activate the Blinkmoth, Inkmoth, attack, activate the Blinkmoth, animate it. Oh, this explosive is for 2, and that's a lot more dangerous. But as we said, I think the line of play here is eventually going to be poison you out.
Yeah.
And with Greg not even close to comboing, if Dan can see this line, I think it's a pretty certain shot. It's very rare that Greg can go off next turn with no Amulet or Azusa in play.
Yeah. So if Dan just goes everything on him, let's see. But now Dan is put in the position of if he goes to activate Blinkmoth, then
oh, that's very relevant. Spellskite can stop the haste lands. You know, the land that's like give your guy haste and give your guy
and double strike and okay.
So he can stop a Titan from activating twice in a turn, which is actually incredibly relevant. Yeah, I didn't see that.
So on the field now, the problem is if Dan goes to activate Blinkmoth or Inkmoth Nexus and Greg to happen, he's fine. But if Greg just goes in response, try to blow up your field, then he's in not a great way.
Well, he can activate again in response.
Yeah.
And Dan being very cautious here, just coming in for 1 again. I don't know if this is his line to victory. I also don't know if Dan doesn't know that 0 can not blow up his lance.
Yeah. I think
with this passive play, it signifies that Dan thinks that 0 can blow up his activated lance.
Yeah. Probably does.
But otherwise, he only has a Ravager in hand. I don't see why else he wouldn't just
go all in.
Not even go all in, but activate to attack.
Yeah.
Activate both of them to attack.
Yeah, you're right. He must think that, which is unfortunate if you read it say none. And it's something that once it's pointed out to you, you go, oh yeah, because otherwise, like you said, it would blow up all lands.
If it was worded, if it didn't say non-land, it would literally be blow up a board.
Would it be banned in all formats?
It would be banned in all formats because you could just put it on 0.
Yeah,
and
just like
blow it.
Yeah, turn 2-mana Armageddon, pretty good.
It comes a Thoughtseize, and this is going to take Greg's only action, which is that Summoner's Pact. But Dan's still being passive and still thinking.
Does he pay the Summoner's Pact? That's what he's thinking.
No, because then he just pays 4 mana for losing his Titan. He's a Titan down.
Oh, sorry, the Titan goes into your hand. Yeah, absolutely. And he is.
And he is going to play it. Maybe he can search for something that can't be Thoughtseize. Is there anything?
No.
No? Failed to find? Like searching for an Azusa maybe here? Or Titan?
Dromoka.
Dromoka can be...
Absolutely Thoughtseized.
Dromoka can be Thoughtseize. But maybe now it's Dromoka and another Summoner's Pack in hand and it gives an actual choice, but then why wouldn't you just keep the Summoner's Pack in hand?
Yeah.
This seems like a strange play from Greg. Maybe this is the choice saying that he doesn't want Dromoka in his deck.
Yeah.
This is saying I would like less non-Titans in my deck.
Sure.
This Thoughtseize is resolved and nothing was taken.
That's very strange.
Just asking our spotter something here. I don't know if Thoughtseize is main.
Okay, so he's going to blow. He's going to pop everything.
Just 1 second. We have to correct something in the game state. Sander, could you check that game?
If Thoughtseize is a May effect, because then he would have to.
Oh no, it's in his graveyard. I think he's had to take it.
Yeah. Okay, I think they noticed.
Thoughtseize is not a May effect.
Yeah, no. Sorry, we had to correct the game state. Dan chose not to take anything from the Thoughtseize.
But
Thoughtseize is not a May. You have to take something if you see it, and the dragon was the only thing to be taken.
Yeah.
Here we're going to see 2 of these explosives go off, and we're going to see what Dan does in response. This is going to be telling to see if Dan thought it was on 0, if he'll activate these lands in response.
Yeah.
And sack. So he's done the 1 for 2 first.
Okay, so
he's sacking the 0s in response.
Now he's going to 2.
And now he's going to 2.
Does he see it?
Let's see if he sees it. He's going to eat the Spellskite and put on the Ravager. And now if he moves everything over to the poison land, he has a 2-turn clock.
Yeah.
And there's nothing Greg can do about it in his hand currently.
Absolutely.
So
he's talking it over, so he must have noticed something.
Oh no, yeah, he's noticed it. Also, even if he thought this was the case, Greg has already blown the 0, and that effect is already resolved. He's eating it again.
So he's going
to eat this Springleaf Drum, I presume, as well, since it's not going to be a creature activated on the board. There's some merit. It makes other creature draws better, and he's going to put it on to as we thought, the Inkmoth, and that's exactly a 2-turn clock as it stands.
Engineering explosives wouldn't take everything off anyway.
No, but the way he played, we think that he might have. Just our resident George Sander correcting some of our
No, we said non-lands.
You said correct stuff.
Yeah, we did.
For once.
Yeah, we just presume with the way he was playing, he wasn't attacking with them, that he might have thought that the 0 took it out. A lot of people make that mistake and don't read the non-land part of that clause.
This is a Slaughter Pact that's in from Gregor's sideboard.
Yeah, Gregor likes bringing in the Slaughter Pact a lot. Can stop you from dying the turn you get a Titan in, and then next turn just going off.
He has 1 in the main, and I kind of guess.
Oh, and that Slaughter Pact is big, and
yeah.
Does that Tendo Ice Breach have counters left on it? Oh, Gemstone. Of course, Gemstone is also there, not in his hand. So he will be able to pay. And a Vault Scourge takes 2 damage, at least getting a clock on. And as we said, Greg has time to find a Titan or something else here. But
that Slaughter Pact draw was huge.
Slaughter Pact was a huge draw. Greg actually does not have anything in hand. He just has lands. It's been a bit of a sketchy keep. Those explosives not as good as against Affinity as they are against a lot of other aggressive decks.
Sure.
Here we see a land, and that's 2 Arcbound Ravagers. That's also going to be a big clock, bringing them both into play. Now explosives for 2. Explosives for 2 again is thing, but both these Ravagers into play, and now he has a Blinkmoth, 2 Ravagers, and a Vault Scourge to start attacking with.
Yeah.
So that Springleaf Drum is going to let him tap the Summoning Sick Ravager and bring in another Ravager.
Yeah.
Just to let people know at home, you can tap the Summoning Sick Ravager because it is the Springleaf Drum's ability.
That does the tapping.
Not the Ravager's ability. And again, another land by Greg, and they're not surprising draws since his deck is 32 lands?
30. Hold on, let's do the count.
It should be 27.
27.
Is it
Should be
27?
27 or 28.
I'm
Now
not-
it's unfortunate because Greg has done it so that he has spells interlaced with his lands.
Of course, because they're the same thing in this.
Yeah,
They're the exact same thing.
he's
in
just
this.
showing off. I have all lands.
That Radiant Fountain's going to get bounced over and over again. It is every time buying some time. There's arguments here for sacking that Springleaf Drum again, but I don't think he's going to go for it. That is a Steel Overseer, and that is going to increase the clock by a lot. That Overseer being able to add 4 power to the board if Greg doesn't do something about it next turn, and we'll get the life totals up for you second. But this might be nearly lights out for Greg.
Yeah, we're gonna see. I think really the only way of buying himself out of this is with a Primeval Titan. That's going to be his only way of really getting out of this. And because he has no, he's got no board wipe ability in the sideboard that he could have brought in. Ancient Grudge could help.
Ancient Grudge
degree.
could help with those ravages are really stifling
Yeah,
how effective
exactly.
they ever are going to be.
So, yeah, it just feels like Titan is going to be what he has to get.
Another Vault Scourge is pretty good here again, adding 2 or 3 power over the 2 turns with Steel Overseer instead of 1. An activation of this Blink Mod.
So it's 25
Oh,
lands.
it's only 25, so that you got to feel that that's a bit unfortunate then for Greg drawing so many. But keeping double explosives, heavy
lands.
lands land, and only 1 part of the combo in the Summoner's Pact.
Yeah.
You know, maybe a bit unfortunate not to see another part of the combo, but when you have these reactive hands, like a lot of affinities deck is just threats, and just reacting isn't good enough. You have to be actively winning. So that's another land by Greg. Jeez. And yeah,
He's just showing, here's all of my land.
and he's just dead this turn. Sorry, we couldn't get the life total update, but I suspect that's a lot of damage swing next turn. It's almost 15 damage
I
swing through
imagine
next turn.
a huge amount of damage.
That's more than 20 over 2 turns of swing with a Steel Overseer.
Yeah.
Fortunate draws by Dan, definitely. But as I said, you need to be actively winning against Affinity. Timely Thoughtseize. Greg's play of searching up that Dromoka to make sure there's more threats in his deck. You know, something I don't like, because while there's more Primevals in his deck, there are less threats. And he did have to pay for the Pact, even if Greg had drawn something that next turn. You know,
It's just a
he
bit
can't
of a
play it. I don't know if he needed to. I get what he was trying to achieve.
Yeah. But
Maybe not the best. That Dromoka still would have been fine in that game if it had been drawn at any stage.
So we saw as well, Greg was quite lucky to draw the Slaughter's Pact to deal with the Inkmoth Nexus at that time, because otherwise he would have been instantly dead. If he actually drew the Primeval Titan without the Bloom, well, without the Amulet, it's fine.
Yeah, no, for sure. That was an interesting matchup where Dan had to balance. Like we're saying from this spot, it's easy to tell people that Dan should have gone all in on that Inkmoth earlier. Dan doesn't know the list. Dan hasn't been playing Modern over the last month. He doesn't know the list perfectly. There's also 7 cards in Gregor's hands.
That's true.
It's hard to go for.
If any one of them is an Ancient Grudge, you're just really off.
Oh, here's a Pyroclasm that's going to be very effective if he has the red source to cast it from Greg. Oh, and a mulligan from Don.
Yeah. So this is game 3.
We see an Amulet, an Explosives, a Serum Vision, a Pyroclasm. I don't know how many coloured lands he has in his hand though.
Yeah, let's see. He's got a Slayer Stronghold.
He for sure has a Stronghold. I can't see any other coloured lands.
Very worrying.
Oh, is that Tellurium West next to the Stronghold maybe?
It's hard to see.
I don't know. Dan presenting his deck to be cut.
Yes, Tolaria West and Slayer Stronghold in that hand.
And
Yeah.
nothing else.
Nothing else.
So
No
no.
Serum Visions.
It's being a bit risky with the Serum Visions, but Serum Visions effectively lets you go through 4 cards for another land.
Yeah.
So this hand looking a bit better. If he has a second source, he can start off with a Vault Scourge here and an Ornithopter to protect his Glimmer Void, but I don't think there's a second land, and Dan is considering it. There's a Plating though, and any second mana source makes this hand very explosive if that Pyroclasm doesn't do anything. Amulet here. Oh,
There we
there's a second land, and that's a very good draw for Dan. 2 Ornithopters even
Boom.
into a Vault Scourge. Next turn Cranial Plating. Next turn either Plating or a what's it?
If he draws a mana source that is like Mox Opal or if he draws Mox Opal or Springleaf Drum,
Yeah.
he does get to get Cranial Plating onto his Vault Scourge and just start gaining some life. And life is relevant in this matchup if Gregor is trying to go off the Primeval Titan rather than a Hive Mind.
Yeah.
And in fact,
Gregor getting 2 activations off the amulet here. That's why his land is untapped there. After using 1 mana, still has 1 blue, putting both to the bottom, signifying he hasn't found that source yet. Oh, Gemstone Mine's excellent draw for him, and letting him Pyroclasm next turn.
absolutely.
Another Inkmot, going to be a good draw. Even with his board getting wiped here, Dan still has a Master of Ethereum in hand to play the turn after.
That Glimmer Void is dangerous.
No, there's a Plating coming down, and the Plating can't really be
That's true.
dealt with. That Dan's, but instead playing the Vault Scourge, not expecting the Pyroclasm, not having seen it, not having seen anything like that game 1, and Greg gonna slam
Slam a Pyroclasm.
a Pyroclasm.
4 for 1.
Not taking any of his activations for the Gemstone, because of course it will waste the tokens there.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4 for 1, and that Glimmer Void is also gonna hit the dust, right? And this is probably game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty big.
Well, I'd say the Glimmer Void's gone.
Yeah, and he notices it. End of turn, Glimmer Void goes. Not only end of your turn, it's end of any turn.
Yeah. Oh wow. So he gets to, I guess. Now here's the question.
Draw a card.
Thoughtcast, a million miles away from that.
Yeah, but this.
So you get in for 1. Now, do you get it on?
Oh, there was no Cranial Plating. Excuse me, it was only a Master of Ethereum. So that play last turn was absolutely fine by Dan Daly. Kind of forced to go all in on this plan. And activating it for 0. And again, now we get to see the dance if Dan thinks that's...
That's kills his land.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. So this might be a bit funny where Dan might activate this attack. And if Gregor zeroes it... Yeah, no, Dan thinks that blows up lands. So that is exactly what is going on.
They
here.
both think it does it.
They both think it blows up lands.
Genius.
Yeah. Well, mistakes are made, and there's interactions in this format that people haven't seen before, and this is one that's come up in Manlands in the past when it was in the format, and
people kind of forget that there is that line on text that says this is still a land when it becomes a creature.
Yeah, there's different things, and here comes a Titan from Gregor, and this is game. He's just going to scoop it up here. Even if Dan had still attacked with the Inkmot, it wouldn't have mattered much. That Titan was coming down. It was going to attack that turn as well. Not only was it
with the double amulet as well, it's huge.
They still got all these. The Slaughter Pact, and we've this is not a great match for Affinity. It has the Thoughtseize, it has a clock, but at the same time, it's just a straight race at the end of the day. Greg maybe muddled his opening hand in game 2 with a bit too much interaction.
Yeah.
But that's the key again to sideboarding with this deck, trying to keep a good balance between interaction. Now, there is the Blood Moon. The Blood Moon does.
Strange in bringing in the Etch Champion. How do you feel about that?
Etch Champion is just
it's a dude.
It's a hedge. Like, it can always attack. It's probably better than some of the stuff he's taking out, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
It can't get killed. In that case, if the Etch Champion, if it was an Etch Champion instead of a Vault Scourge, he'd be in a much better place.
Sure.
For example. Making a slight mistake, I think, by playing the Glimmer Void instead of the other Inkmot.
Yeah.
But, he can be forgiven for that. That Pyroclasm is probably winning the game regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But as we can see, 2 Pyroclasms. We know Gregors actually hates this matchup.
Really?
Yeah, he absolutely loads Affinity decks.
He likes to be able to take his time.
He is loading up on sideboard slots for it. I've talked to him before. He thinks this matchup isn't great. I disagree with him to an extent, but he's out there playing this matchup. And
absolutely. So I'd be interested now to see what Dan takes out. He takes out the Signal Pests. It looks like a Thoughtcast as well.
Maybe those are flexi slots that can always be taken out. If he thinks that Etch Champion's going to be effective just in general, because colored spells is what they're going to try and kill your stuff with. Like, maybe he did know Pyroclasm was in it in game 3, just decided he couldn't play around Pyroclasm anymore. Etch Champion very good against Pyroclasm, very good at attacking past Titans as well. And Kalani Garden tokens, which isn't relevant.
I really need to go out and tell Dan that Explosives doesn't blow up land.
Yeah,
just to see his face go, oh yeah.
Oh.
So Shane and Simon are on top.
Standings.
On top of the standings.
That's close. I don't think Simon's qualified yet.
Ooh.
So that's
no. I don't know if he's on top of the league standings. He's on top tonight.
Oh, on top.
They're both probably 3-0 or maybe 2. Well, Shane is 3-0, but Simon might be 2-1 but with good pairings.
We're gonna have a look at this because we've seen both people on camera and Shane multiple times. So we might be trying to grab another matchup, but we might just show you the trios. You know, as we're talking about it a lot there, these small interactions that happen between sideboard cards and main deck cards that maybe not everyone's seen. We pointed out the mistake a few times from Dan there, but easy to point out a mistake when you're looking over it and you've played the format multiple times, like me, or have played with the decks actually in standard. You know, it's a lot easier to see then when you've seen the interaction in different formats, but not always as easy sitting there reading the card once, not having played in a couple months like Dan did. Ultimately didn't cost him the game, but maybe a faster game too. And it seems like we are going to get Simon and Shane here. We're just going to go top of the standings. A lot of affinity on tonight, and apologies if you're getting a bit sick of it, but these are the winners. These are the decks that are doing well, and affinity putting up good numbers week after week. Simon again on the Abzan little kid deck, as we called it. He has Lingering Souls in his deck, which is always trouble against affinity. And he has stuff like Path to Exile. He has a good removal suite. Affinity maybe sometimes too fast to do anything about, but these Lingering Souls can really slow it down. We're going to get underway here shortly. I don't think the start of the round has been called yet. I think just a broken sleeve here by Simon. Maybe revealing what he's playing, but you know, tight-knit community, people know what's being played anyway. And of course the pain of replacing a broken double sleeve. Very important here is the dice roll. You know, going first, the affinity deck getting that explosive start. The Abzan little kid deck starting off with a Noble Hierarch is massive. Getting those Lingering Souls into play earlier is a big deal. But hopefully we'll see the matchup start here now. Simon just reshuffling after a broken sleeve.
Yep. So we're going to see one of the big cards as well in Simon's board. One that Shane audibly groans at whenever I mention is Lingering Souls.
Well, that's in his main deck, isn't it?
Yeah, 4 in his main deck.
Yeah, we were talking about that already. It's probably his best card.
But the audible groan from Shane of just like, cool, they have 4 main deck hate cards against me, is just excellent.
It is, and this traditionally not the best matchup because of that for Shane. But, you know, Shane's faced a couple of matchups tonight that we wouldn't have called the best matchup, and you know, he plays his deck well. He's very familiar with his bad matchups and the interactions.
Absolutely.
Maybe even more so than Simon. Simon not having played this deck as long as Shane has played Affinity.
Yeah. So yeah,
we're going to try and get some lists up here. See what the sideboard's like. Unfortunately, Simon hasn't submitted a list tonight. We'll scold him later for that. But we're getting underway. We didn't see who won the die roll.
We'll find out fairly
We'll find
quick.
out soon. They're taking their time. Time not quite called on the round. It's not started, so they have to wait it out. Openers, I presume. Shane looking at his hand that he's on the play.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see here. So, opening hand here, and that's the Lingering Souls you want to see. But only 1 mana source, I think. So this is looking like a mulligan.
Got it. Throw it back.
2 Will to Leaf Lieges, no Noble Hierarch to excel out either.
Yeah.
Those Lieges basically being mulligans by themselves.
Absolutely.
That's 2 Lingering Souls though. Oh no, that's a pat. That's a promo pat, not a promo Lingering Souls.
Nah, you got to throw it back.
So tempting, but no. And Shane looks like he's sticking at 7.
Well, it's not really that.
Shane never mulligan. That's what I call him.
Shane never mulligan. But that's the thing. I mean, you have to go runner land, and sometimes even with the Lingering Souls, you're just dead by that point.
I would say Lingering Souls buys enough time. 1/1 flyers are the bane of the existence of the Affinity deck. Like, so many of its creatures either fly or say can't be blocked by anything but flyers, like the
Fly
Signal
and
Pest
R11s.
and R11s. There's certainly like Ravager and stuff, and Etch Champion and the Master of Ethereum do help you get around these cards, but traditionally with both of you having average hands, Lingering Souls is a pain. So let's see if the 6 is any better. Going back to the well, has a Noble Hierarch and maybe a bit too much land. This Dismember is just not going to be that effective against Affinity, at least not as effective as it is against
Yeah.
other decks he's thinking. But I think this has to be a keep. This has to be better than going to 5. And that's a Razorverse ticket into Noble Hierarch for Simon on turn 1. Passes to Shane. Shane takes the draw. Inkmot Nexus into Signal Pest. Anything else from the Affinity player, or is this a more anemic start? Yeah, anemic start from Shane. Still not bad, but one of the on the slower side. Another Razorverse ticket. Excellent. Hasn't taken any pain from his mana yet. Into a second Noble Hierarch. 2 Gavany Townships and a Dismember left in Simon's hand. An attack for 2 thanks to the Exalted triggers from Noble Hierarch. And those
This is Tom Ross beats right here.
Tom Ross beats. That Gavany Township is going to do a lot of work next turn, being able to be activated in both of those Noble Hierarchs.
Absolutely.
Shane already falling to 18, as we said, because of those Razorverse tickets. No damage done to Simon. Shane not under a lot of pressure, but that Gavany Township always threatening to take over a game of Magic. Turn 2 starts with Aurora on top there for Shane. Probably his draw for the turn, otherwise that would be in play already. Mana. Let's Blinkmot into Mox Opal and Master of Ethereum, making this anemic draw a lot better, but only an attack for 1 this turn if he wants it.
Which I imagine he does. Why not? Get in there.
Attack for 1, unblockable, because he can only be blocked by flying creatures. And that Master of Ethereum is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the perfect size to be dismembered. I think Simon missing a beat if he's already taken a damage. Dismembering, yes, right here. Is he doing it before or after damage? We're not sure.
Yeah. And
Get the life totals on the for you in a second.
Shane noticing as well. Yeah, this is going through. Unfortunately, if you have 1 mana up in any way, shape or form, he could have just activated.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect here for Simon. And now again turning, ooh, excellent on our Lingering Souls. And that Township is in play.
Boom.
From Simon. He gets to get in for 2 here again. Lingering Souls is in play. No black source to flash it back yet, but that Township going to make them 2/2s next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
In for 2, Shane on 16, and Shane under some pressure. Those Lingering Souls matching up really well with the current creatures he has in play.
Yeah.
Shane's going to need another threat.
At this point, he can either single block the. Okay, that helps.
And a Thoughtcast to reload.
Yeah.
No attack though, and any turn where there's no attack from an Affinity player, Simon's pretty happy.
Yeah. So Glimmer Void getting out. Is that a Vault Scourge?
Ooh, Vault Scourge is going to be very important here, making it less likely that a race is in the future.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a turn or 2 for an attack as this Gavany
Mox
Township.
Opal. Is he just completely emptying his? What's that? So it's going to be. That's kind of showing. No, because if he has Galvanic Blast, you kind of fire it off, don't you?
I guess it's just representing. There's no point in not having that Mox Opal to represent the spell.
Absolutely.
Birds of Paradise is going to come down here, representing a flashback for Lingering Souls next turn, and being pumped by that Gavany Township.
So swing for 2.
Attack for 2 and an aggressive attack for 2. But that Steel Overseer is summoning sick this turn.
It absolutely is.
So any block is a bad block here by Shane, taking power off the board.
Do you Galvanic Blast? No, I think you let him activate. If you have the Galvanic Blast, you might fire it off, but it's not huge.
Current score is 16 to Simon, 14 to Shane. And here we get activation from the Gavany Township.
Yeah.
And Simon being very aggressive with his draw here, knowing that Vault Scourge can take over the game, that he wants to be the first one to activate. Hopefully we can get some tokens for the spirits here so this doesn't get too confusing. But next turn we're looking at a flashback. The Mana Leak, excellent spirit token. Next turn we're looking at a flashback Lingering Souls into another activation of that Gavany Township.
He taps the 2 cards in 2 different directions. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of that.
Trolling
it hurts me. Oh god.
Coverage. Shane at least representing a Galvanic Blast here, and we're not sure if that's exactly what's in his hand.
Yeah.
If it is, it's very hard to fire it off on any individual one of these creatures, as they're pretty redundant and all have the same kind of value. Being the first one to activate the Township over the first one to activate a Steel Overseer is big. It's
pretty
big game. That's 4 damage that turn taken by Shane, and he's gone down to 10.
Yeah. Shane coming to the Jar, which is pretty awesome. We saw Affinity List used to play this, but they just kind of didn't feel like they needed it. If they had another creature, their slots were too full. But Shane going back to it, especially with all of the Delver lists going around, the Grixis kind of lists that are killing a lot of his creatures, he's like, no, I want to protect. If our producer Alex could hear, please turn one of those cards proper. Please do it.
No.
It hurts.
So Shane activating his manlands here to get make that Steel Overseer a lot more effective.
Absolutely.
So we got a lot of dice. We're using smaller ones here because the bigger ones are going to muddle up the board.
Yeah.
Something serious.
Well, they're going to disappear too quickly. We won't have enough.
Yeah. So here's a counter attack probably coming in from Shane, and a straight
An
race.
attack of counters, really.
Yeah. And a straight race is not really a position you want to find yourself in with Affinity.
Yeah.
So all these guys on one counters.
Especially when one of the creatures is a 2/2 lifelinking flyer.
More than that, Signal Pest is also coming in.
Oh well.
Maybe
yeah.
Shane, not Shane choosing wisely to attack. I think here, Simon not really the capacity to kill him next turn, or actually is it? Is this Shane will be going up to 13, 14
Yeah.
if there's no blocks here. Simon on 16, so this is not 16 damage as far as I'm counting. An attack for 1, 2, 6,
But Birds has
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Only 12. Maybe Shane falling as low as 2 next turn if Simon draws a land.
Does he block with the birds?
There's a free block on the birds
No, there's
on
not.
the Ornithopter because
Oh,
no, it's not. Sorry, there's a Signal Pest trigger.
Yeah.
There is no real profitable block here for Simon. The attack last turn was a bit tricky from Simon. This attack would look a lot different if Simon had 2 Lingering Souls tokens on the D.
So next turn he gets to. Oh, yeah, and Simon's got no real good.
Only going up to 13. Actually, Shane is going to 1 on the attack if Simon draws a land.
Yeah, if Simon draws a land, he gets to deal 15 damage.
No, he gets to do 6, 7,
1, 2,
8, 9, 10, 11,
4,
12,
5.
13. Oh, he gets exactly 13 with a land drop. Because the souls will go up to 3, that's 6.
Yeah, you're right,
The-
13. You're right.
13. So land drop and Shane's dead. So I'm not 100% sure of that attack. Shane, I'm pretty sure going up to 13.
Let's
Well,
see.
Let's see.
Land, it looks like.
Well, if it is a land, we'll get to see if I was right or wrong. Maybe Shane, he only gained 3 that turn as far as I know.
Yeah, it would have been.
I'll ask the producer to double check the life, but this is a close game. It's a close ace.
I think Simon's doing the math. If he draws the land,
Yeah, no, Simon's on 10 and Shane's on 13. Untapped land here by Simon means Shane is dead.
it's not a land, I don't think.
If it's a land, I think Simon will be slamming it a lot faster. This might have to be a defensive turn. Playing defense against the Steel Overseer, though, with that many artifacts out, is going to be quite difficult.
So he can do 11. So he's swinging in with 1. Look at that spirit go.
Swing for 2, and are we going to see a township activation?
Is there much?
Oh, it's a swing for much more than 2. It's going to be a swing for 5 because of Noble Hierarch. Oh,
This Noble Hierarch not adding.
okay.
Yeah, I think he has to remember.
I'm not sure if he's attacking or activate. No, I think he's using. No, he's attacking.
That's very strange.
It's a bit strange, yes.
Because he's actually. There's no profit to attacking with these guys because there are. What's the name of that trigger?
No, there is because they both get a. No, he's decided against it. No, okay, there.
But what's the name of that trigger? The
Exalted.
Exalted. So, but he's
There
not
is,
pumping.
but they are because they all get +1 if they pump.
But he's
But if
not
he
pumping.
pumps, he dies. So.
Yeah, so he's not pumping. Which
Oh,
means
it was a
was,
kitchen finks. It was a kitchen finks, not a land.
and he should be flashing back Lingering Souls right now.
Yeah, Lingering Souls would be a good flashback here.
And he's passing turn.
Kitchen finks was quite a good draw that turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, flashing back the souls for 2 blockers ahead of your 1 blocker from birds would be good, but this is going to be difficult for him to win. He had 1 shot there to draw a land for the win on board. That welding jar is going to make it impossible for a profitable trade to take place here.
I believe the term is Luxac Shane. Absolute Luxac.
It's a play you can make, putting your opponent to 10, putting him in defensive mode if he doesn't draw a land. And now we're at the stage of the game where if Simon draws a land, it's not as relevant. There's not many spells in Simon's deck. Siege Rhino puts Shane under a bit of pressure, having attacked for 6 last turn, so Shane is on 4.
So yeah, we can see here getting in with all of the creatures.
Getting in with everything and attacking the tapping the Ink Mod again to activate it, so he can put also counters on that in case something goes wrong.
Yep.
Is that Glimmervoid is in play, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So waiting for
Simon's
Simon to line up some blocks. That Kitchen Finks is not going to be able to get in the way of anything, unfortunately, because you would love it if it was dying and then gaining more counters from that Gavin.
Absolutely.
So we're going to get a Lingering Souls token trying to eat a Signal Pest. and then we're going to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 damage through, putting Simon exactly to 1.
Phew.
Close margins.
Yeah.
Simon deciding whether he wants to throw away a guy to preserve life. Oh no, Simon will be on a bit more, so he was on 10, but he gained 2 from kitchen finks.
Oh, yeah.
So this would put Simon
3.
on 3. So it's pretty safe not to block here. But is your guy...
Galvanic Blast is a concern.
Galvanic Blast is definitely a concern, and Shane was pump faking it earlier.
Yeah.
But would Shane have used it by now is what you have to ask yourself. But maybe if you can play around it at this stage, it's worth playing around it. And that's what he's deciding. He's deciding... Ooh, lining up blocks slightly differently here. Not being able to township, he's going to lose both his guys in this trade here.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting sequence of blocks.
But he does take away he does take away the Vault Scourge, and I feel like he doesn't
take away the Vault Scourge. He doesn't have... Unfortunately, he doesn't really have any good trades or anything here.
Yeah.
So let's see if he activated that Ink Moth. I think he only activated that Ink Moth to give Blink Moth life. I don't think he has animated it.
Yeah.
Which seems a bit strange with 2 open mana. Maybe he's drawn... But anything he's drawn for 2, I thought he would have played, besides maybe a plating.
Actually, this block is fine. It prevents the most amount of damage.
It does, but with him still being on 12, preventing the most amount of damage just to lose 2 guys.
You're just saying over not blocking at all. But
over blocking 1 and going down to low life.
Sure.
You have to construct a way in which you can win this game.
And
not double blast.
Galvanic
Double
Blast.
blast anyway made all this relevant.
Look, sack Shane.
I think it's something you can take from this game is Simon wasn't sculpting out a way to win the game. He was sculpting out a way not to lose.
Which isn't winning.
Which isn't winning. It's not the same thing. He wasn't taking a clear path to victory there. I think you can't play around single Galvanic Blast. I know it's very strong chance that he has it because he was pump faking it. He was considering killing something in response.
Yeah.
But playing around him, are you just losing if they're in his hand anyway?
Yeah.
He has to deal you 1 more damage over a turn to make his Galvanic Blast alive anyway.
Yeah.
And he also got slightly punished for not flashing back the Legendary Soul Star.
So Shane is going to be slamming Whip Flares. Absolutely slamming.
Whip Flares are good for Shane. We saw Stony Silence there in Simon's board, and I wanted to say Thoughtseize, but I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't see the other card. Stony Silence, one of the best cards against Affinity. Legitimately shutting down their whole decks, making their whole deck 1/1s.
The payoff cards for Affinity being Ravager, Cranial Plating, and Overseer.
They're also not... I might be wrong here, but Stony Silence means you can't tap your artifact lands for mana.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, it
can't-
might. Usually those things don't stop mana abilities.
Yeah, but I think Stony Silence does.
Just wow. Just stops everything.
We're going to ask our producer, but I'm pretty sure Stony Silence stops your Darksteel Citadel.
That's Darksteel Citadel and Mox Opal.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It's a good card. They made a 2 mana win the game spell against Affinity.
The last time I did well at a modern event was back when there was PTQs and I played Affinity at it. And I knew out of all the cards I could see out of their sideboard, they can have all the Creeping Corrosions and Vandal Blasts they wanted. What I didn't want to see was Stony Silence.
Sure.
Turn 2 Stony Silence meant you were playing your game with modern cards and I was playing my game with 1/1s.
Yeah.
It was not very winnable.
You were playing with a bad limited deck.
Yeah.
Made of 1/1 for ones.
Signal Pest was like one of the only ways you could win the game. But you could still... I think you can still animate your Blinkmot Nexus.
Oh, yeah, because it's
that's
not
not an artifact until
Yeah.
it's animated.
That 10-turn clock.
10-turn clock.
Sometimes
You think it's bad out of Abzan? Blue, White, Red used to be a dominant deck in the format.
Yeah.
And when they were playing Lightning Bolts and
Pats
and Wear Tears out of the board and Stony Silence,
it's pretty sad.
they were
days.
not fun matchups.
So yeah, we're going to see some sideboarding going on. Shane, as we see, doing the sideboarding quicker because he knows. Although Simon should know. I mean, he's playing against Affinity. You kind of have those cards in your...
Yeah, it's easy to know what to take in. Not so easy to know what to take out.
Sure.
And Shane, well versed in sideboarding so far. Where Simon, not sure. We see... Did he not bring in Stony Silence? Was that Stony Silence still on his board?
I hope not.
Interesting. We'll see now.
I should hope that he brings it in. Card's excellent. We just talked for about 3 minutes about how it wins the game.
just asking our producer to look what's in Simon's board because we don't have a deck list in front of us.
So Simon's got a lot of land, a bird, a voice of resurgence, 2 birds, a voice of resurgence, and 4 lands.
Yeah, just also confirmation in case he does have it. Stony Silence does say activated abilities of artifacts cannot be used. Cannot be activated, so it does stop mana of artifact lands and Mox Opal.
Wow.
We're just going to have a quick look what Simon might have brought in and out, and our producer Alex can have a look over it. A lot of birds, voice.
2 birds, voice, 4 land.
This is kind of the land, hand I'd like to keep if I had a Gavany Township in it.
Yeah.
Not a hand I'm very happy with otherwise. No, he's not very happy with it. Or so confident in it that he's showing Shane the hand.
He's just
beforehand.
like, it's fine, I'll draw it. And another voice, and don't look at the top.
Will leave into Lingering Souls. That would have been decent, methinks.
How could you lose?
Any whip player from Shane though stopping the party.
Which I bet, knowing Shane, sitting on both of them. Both of them and the perfect other 5 cards to like...
I hear he also has a Black Lotus in hand.
Simply for the artifact count. Yeah. Simply to turn on Metalcraft.
Never cracks it. Metalcraft, too precious.
Well, it's Pump's Cranial.
So again, mulligan here by Simon, down to 6 on the play. Not exactly where you want to be in a game of Magic ever. I don't care what deck, what format.
Are you saying Shane uses a Black Lotus as a...
Metalcraft in there, bro.
No, as a Darksteel relic?
Better, because, you know, it's worth more money.
That's how it works, it's true.
It distracts your opponents.
They're like, what? That's not legal. Judge, what?
Well, I guess it's actually simply worse, because with Relic, it's like the reminder text that you don't crack it, and it's good for Metalcraft.
You're right.
With Black Lotus, you might be tempted to crack it.
Yeah. Which would always be a mistake.
Always. It's like Welcome Turn having the best reminder text of all time. Can't block creatures while flying. Just stop people from doing stupid blocks on turn 2.
Yeah.
Best reminder text in Magic.
I love Welcome Turn so much.
This looks a bit still very dodgy. Dismember in hand. I saw a Township. Razorverge ticket stopping him from taking any damage, and a voice and a Finks. It's not bad.
And he's got the Hierarch.
He doesn't have the Hierarch. He didn't play it on turn 1. But here we're getting a bit of an explosive start from
not Noble Hierarch. Oh, Leonin. What's it named?
Kasali Pride
Mage. Sorry.
I'm not sure if it's a voice or a Pride Mage.
Oh, he has both.
A turn 1 Ravager into multiple artifacts by Shane.
This is what we call the I still have 2 in hand. It wasn't as good as it could be.
So it looks like those Stony Silence did go into Simon's deck, of course. He took out 2 Royalty Liege, a Hierarch, a Voice, and a Rhino to bring in. We're not sure exactly what, but definitely 2 or 3 Stony Silence.
Yeah, so he brought in so now Shane just gets to go bam.
Yeah, Shane really
3 mana. What do we got?
The big threats are all 3 mana. Etch Champion actually not the biggest threat in this matchup. For this matchup is usually all about grinding out advantages, and usually Etch Champion is excellent. But in this one case, he definitely just wanted a Master of Ethereum or something instead. Sorry, Pride Mage not going to be as effective with this Arcbound Ravager in play.
But Simon found all of his land. I mean, he's got to be happy with that. He's going to be able to.
None of the hate cards though is going to make this bad hard, and he doesn't have a clock. This Etch Champion is just going to slowly take over this game of match. Oh,
Shane having it all.
The plating on the champ. Bit of a nombo with Ravager, but I don't think he cares. And he's going to come crashing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 on the plating and 2 on the champ. If he decides to activate.
Well, it's already 8.
Well,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, but he can also activate 2 lands if he would like.
So you can make it 9, 10.
I'm going to see. There might be a response here by Simon. He might want to
dismember. Oh no, he can't dismember.
He can just Pride Mage. He can attempt to kill other artifacts in order for some sacking to take place, to make the damage 1 less damage, I guess. But
yeah, he's gonna.
He can also just kill the plating.
Yeah,
sorry, he can kill the plating.
Absolutely.
Apologies.
Jeez, how'd you miss that, Daisy?
Killing the plating here makes Shane's start a lot less explosive. But this Ravager still at any point in the game threatening to end the game with a Etch Champion in play.
So let's see, Shane keeping up some mana. Wonder if he's any relevant. So there's a Noble Hierarch.
Oh, did Simon fetch a swamp with his Windswept Heath?
It looks like he did. Might want to fix that.
Yeah, 1 second.
Well, Alex can hear us from outside. He's going to quickly catch that.
Yeah. Looks like he should have fetched dual land instead of a swamp.
So there's going to be a judge. Now, luckily, no black spells have been
Played.
cast.
It might be too late to fix this. Multiple things have happened. A draw step has happened. The fetching of the land has affected the draw. I think this is just going to be left stand as it's very hard to rewind. Now he could have taken an overgrown, got an overgrown tune